Welcome, Geminis. This is your May 2020 All Astrology. We're going to discuss the full moon of May, which is a very special full moon. We're going to go into the details about that. We're also going to talk about a Saturn retrograde, the Pluto retrograde, the Venus retrograde, Jupiter retrograde, all in the month of May. Pluto has already gone retrograde at the butt end of April. We are going to be discovering together how all the retrogrades affect us and what area of our life they're going to be happening in. And how do we know that? By understanding what area of our astrology chart that they happen in. When we know our chart, when we have it in front of us and we can visually see, oh, it happens here, we understand what area of our life that's occurring in. And when we know what areas of our life, we can then plan. We can say, okay, I have these frequencies, I have these energies available, or I don't have them available. Or I'm going to be working against something, therefore maybe I don't want to do that at that time. So this is a way of navigating the waters of life, how to be strategic in our actions, how to actually understand the frequency grid in association with my own energetic alignment, with my own energetic birth grid, and how to move forward, how to understand what the next correct steps are for you specifically. All right, so Gemini ascendant, Gemini rising, we're going to find out where the full moon occurs, right? It's in the sign of Scorpio at 17 degrees and 20 minutes. So where is that in your life, right? And when we have full moons, we understand that here's the moon on one end, and at the exact opposite end is the sun. And they are both at the matching degree marks. Now, this is all about a release, and this is all about a desire. Scorpio energy is a releasing, but it's deep. Its ruler is Plutonian energy. Pluto is all about my soul. It goes to depths of the unknown, right? So this is a time when we can grab hold of our SOUL-U-LAR power. It is when we step aside our personality, we realize there's something greater than us, and we allow our soul to gain control. Okay, so Gemini ascendant, Gemini rising, let's dive deep together into your all astrology. So here we go. May 7th is the full moon at 17 degrees and 20 minutes in Scorpio energy. I have keywords written down: intense, power, depth, introspection. Okay, I've got words for the opposing side, right? The opposing side of the powerful, intense, permanent change, right? These are Plutonian words. Remember, Pluto rules Scorpio. At the opposite end is your Taurus energy, okay? Taurus is all about what I'm holding on to. I'm fixed. I've got a hold of it. I'm not going to let it go. So where is your Scorpio energy? Your Scorpio is typically going to be in your 6th house. Okay, your 6th house is all about your work, right? Your day-to-day routines, your health habits. Okay, it's your hygiene. The 6th house is our domestic house. Okay, domestic meaning it's our daily routines. It's part of home, but it's the routines that we have at home. Okay, it's our living at home. It's our, I get up in the morning, I first take a shower, and then I go and I have breakfast, and then I might go out in the yard and fill the bird feeders up, right? Or whatever your routine is, okay? Virgo is all about the small things, the details, and the 6th house, that area, will have the Virgo tendencies. So it's all about paying attention to the small things, okay? And love having things to do, lists, projects, right? This is all about that 6th house. So work projects, right? When you're at work, a lot of people like to put coworkers into this location. But now let's put the Scorpio energy there. Scorpio is about the below the surface stuff. So in the 6th house, it's details, okay, but it's below the surface details, all right? It is Scorpio energy, so it is an energy in which we are sharing with somebody else. So work that we share with somebody else, all right? Think about that. 8th house energies is our resources. It's our mutual resources. It's our mutual energy. It's how I share my energy with you. Now, in that 6th house, that means how I share my energy with folks I work with, how I share my energy day to day, right, during my daily routines, but not surfacey. Not like we sit around and we talk about the weather, or it's talking about deep stuff, stuff that matters, the soul stuff, okay? The soul stuff. Pluto being the ruler, there's power, there's intense, it's transformational, all right? It's a transmutation. Think about your sixth house in terms of your health as well, because that is what it is. And health has everything to do with your mental, your physical, your spiritual, encompasses all of it. Okay. How much of our thinking, right? Another Virgo quality, thinking, the ability to see all the details and maybe get stuck in the details. Okay. With Scorpio energy there and that being in your sixth house of work projects, you would be this never ending researcher. Right? Someone who for work or in their daily routines, they love to keep digging, right? They love to excavate. They love to go below the surface. They're a constant, this constant thirst for more knowledge, all right? That's the whole thing with the Scorpio energy. There's this idea that I know there's more there. Now, let's not forget some of the basic understandings of it. It's water. But it's fixed water. Water represents our emotions, okay? So we're talking fixed emotions that run in very deep waters. So deep, we don't see them many times. However, as an individual, you see them. Whether you let others see them is the question, okay? Because you bury them deep. Sometimes there are these emotions that we're not real proud of, or we recognize and acknowledge them, but we're not ready to share them. Okay, so there are these health habits. Okay, there's going to be things that are about all of this, and this could be mental health habits along with physical health habits, work routines. It's shared energy. All right, so when you're working with people, there's this deep bonding that can happen. Okay, because Scorpio has this ability to penetrate, to go to the other side, which means I can merge with your energy. But it is the understanding of where does your energy end and where does another's begin. Because it's this tendency to meld and to mesh and to share and to blend. All right, and this is why Scorpios tend to be so psychic. Okay, because there's that idea that we can, we can become one to a certain essence because I have a deep understanding of you, all right? And so I pick up easily on what you're feeling, but at a very deep level. Now, what does this have to do with the full moon? Well, emotions is a big deal because emotions, the full moons heightens emotions, okay? Our moon is connected to the sign of Cancer. It rules the sign of Cancer. And Cancer is our emotional security. It's our family. If we think about when we're a child, how do we have emotional security? What is our emotional security? Our mother supplies our emotional security. Our mother is also who's known to be our nurturer. Our mother gives us food, right? We think of breastfeeding, right? A child that breastfeeds. The mother is feeding the child. And not only is it is feeding the body, but there is an emotional bond that is set when that occurs. And you hear the stories and the studies of babies who never had breastfeeding. There is this emotional disconnect that they've realized that has occurred in that child when they become young adults. They see that there's an absence of something there that they didn't receive. Therefore, breastfeeding has multiple benefits. Well, this is all tied into that, okay? Because we have this full moon. Now, when we connect it to the Scorpio energy, which is more emotions, it is not only just your hidden emotions of yourself, but there is a soul essence that comes through because it's so deep. When we go to the core of who we are, we're connecting with our soul. Well, what does that mean? Two things that we can kind of differentiate in a body. There's the personality, the physical frame, the makeup of who we are in this lifetime. And then there is this, which is mortal, by the way. And then, well, like you don't know that, right? But then there is this immortal sense of who we are. And this is the soul part of us, right? It is our soul stuff that lives on regardless of whether the body is there or not. It exists. It exits out of the body at the time of death. And it lives forever. It is eternal. So when we have a full moon, especially the full moon in May, it happens every May. It's usually the first full moon of the month. If there should be two full moons, there not always is. But typically the first full moon, it's a special full moon because you've got this Scorpio energy happening. okay, which is your soul coming through. And then it is also combining with its polar energy, all right? And that's that Taurus energy, which is desire, okay? And typically what we are focusing on at this time is how to release, how to detach. You know, when you think of the basic energy of the Taurus who holds on to something, right? Because we know they're both fixed. Okay, so this is a fixed Taurus energy, fixed holding on to something. I won't let it go. And I hold on so tight sometimes I squash it and I kill it. And then there's the Scorpio energy at the opposite end. Well, what's the opposite of holding on to something? It's releasing something. It's letting go of something, right? You know, there's some Scorpios, you know, where they couldn't hold on to a dime for all the money, right? Like they just, as soon as it comes into their hand, it goes out as fast as they get it. It's in a constant phase of releasing. Emotions that we have the light of the full moon shining upon, that we were aware of, but we're at a stage in our evolution and our growth where we're ready to let go, where we're ready to move on. So there are things, typically fear, because that is a big Pluto word, okay? Because Pluto just goes so deep, right? And a lot of times there's fear that we carry that didn't even, it's from events and experiences that may not have occurred during this lifetime. I know, right? The big aha goes on, all right? So when we think of fear, when we think of these things that have a hold on us, and we have extreme anxiety, and we sometimes don't know what the source of them is. You know, we think we do, but then there's parts of it that kind of evade us. The hope and goal is that at this time of the full moon that we can grab a better understanding of that we can be enlightened. And there's a story actually connected to this full moon. It's known as the Buddha full moon because it's tied into a Buddha festival. They call it the Wesak full moon. And it is a time when the Grand Master Buddha literally comes down and radiates his beams of energy. Okay, and so the hope and the goal is that we can elevate our own vibrations, our own frequencies, and then the Master kind of descends and lowers to our frequency so that we can kind of meet in the middle and that we can feel those energies that come down because it's such a potent time. Okay, so let's take a look at your chart. If you've got your Scorpio energy in your 6th house, that means you have your Taurus energy in your 12th house. Now, you want to go by the degrees. So check for 1720 and find out in your chart where that happens at. That will help you to better understand. So if you have Taurus energy, if you have 1720 in your 12th, this is fascinating because dreams, right? Pay attention to your dreams around this time, okay? This is on the 7th of May, but remember the full moon is this waxing energy, so you could feel things, stirrings coming in, you could see things and get visuals during the day or during dreams, you know, the day before, the day after, but typically the culminating energy on a full moon, this building is a few days before. So we're talking May 5th, May 6th, May 7th is the culmination, the day of it. Now having a light shine on something means, oh gosh, I can actually, once we have awareness of it, we can deal with it. 12th house energy is typically stuff we're not aware of. It's our subconscious desires because you have Taurus there and Taurus represents desires. So for Gemini, this is going to help because we've had Venus themes going on for 2019 and 2021, and COVID-19 has contributed to having to be able to have a high level of discernment to comprehend what I need versus what I value, all right? What I need versus what I want, what I need to survive, what I need to get by, what I'm going to need going forward into my future, okay? So that I can be healthy, I can be happy, so I can be emotionally stable, okay? Think of the stability that we can gain when we have a balance within our mentality, within our emotions. When we're in that place of balance, when we're in that place of security, we make different choices. We have different wants. We then change our desires. We then change what we thought we needed, and we start making different choices. So at the time of the full moon, you want to really find a way to keep yourself calm. You want to find a way to have a day of a place of peace and a moment of silence, whatever that is that works for you. And some people don't do good with silence, and I get it. This might mean that you need to incorporate music. You might need to go ahead and sit down and do some art, do some crafting, do some weaving, do some, whatever it is you do, something that allows you to connect to the other side of your brain. For some people, it's going outside and digging and gardening. This would work really well for you because you've got Scorpio energy in the 6th house of the gardener, which is Virgo, right? They love going out and working with the earth energy, and planting and digging, and that is Scorpio. That is Pluto working in the dirt, going below the surface. So whether that is for you or not, I don't know, but if you're Gemini, Ascendant Gemini rising, comment below and let the rest of us know what it is that you do to connect to the other side of your brain, right? It's that other side, the non-thinking side, that helps you to connect with the higher realms. It helps you to bring in and hear spirit. It helps you to understand something that is more than you, to grab a hold of knowledge and messages that are from maybe your loved ones, okay? So share with others and let them know what you do. If there is anything that I'm talking about in this video that you're not certain of, if you don't know where something is in your chart, make sure you don't hesitate. You go ahead and you comment so that I can get back to you and answer your questions. I do have a special invitation and announcement I'm going to make at the end of this video, and I want to be able to include as many people as I can, and I'm extending this to all the subscribers of Allastrology. So stay tuned, and I'm going to give you specific directions for that. It's completely free. You don't really have to do anything, and since we are all far away from each other, we can't physically be together, I'm still going to have a ceremony, but I'm doing this so that we can include you. We can all be together in this way. After May 7th, we go, May 11th is Saturn going retrograde. Now keep in mind, before a planet goes backwards, it's going to stand still. And when it stands still, it becomes more intense. It becomes stronger. It powers down. Now Saturn is going retro at like 157 Aquarius energy. So if I look at your chart, typically, remember, check your degrees. If you don't know, comment below. Check your degrees for 157 Aquarius, and that for you, Gemini, is going to typically be in your 9th house of beliefs. All right, your 9th house is your thinking, your believing, not just your thinking, but it's deeper than that. It's what you believe. You know, we formulate beliefs after we've had experiences, right? After we've done some living, okay? After we already thought it through, then we create a belief. Well, this is that. Your 9th house is all about your opinions and your beliefs. And these things focus, yours are very individualistic, very unique, very original. It's also about community and the group, friendship, right? How you connect with others, how we connect with a group. Now, Saturn going backwards means that, well, I should say before it goes backwards, Saturn will be bearing down. Okay, and what does Saturn represent? It represents rules and restrictions. So for all of us, all right, days before the 11th, there may be more rules and more restrictions, because that's what Saturn is all about. It's establishing some sort of an organization. It's establishing structures in some way, okay? Because it's trying to add a physical stability to the 3D world, our 3D world. So days before then, we're going to probably feel this. Now, you're going to be feeling it in your 9th house, if that's where your 157 is, okay? And I can't tell you anything more than that unless you comment and say, gee, I'm looking, I'm not sure where my 157 is. So if you don't know, comment your birth digits below. I can find out for you, because it could be in a different house. But if it's in your 9th, what else is the 9th house? It's how I travel long distances, all right? So there may be more restrictions there. It is also, the 9th house is also my higher learning. So for a lot of, especially for you, remember, Aquarian energy is also your internet. Well, there might be something that happens with the internet, right, during this time. Now, remember, Saturn's going to go backwards, so it's not going to be a permanent thing. It's going to relax. It's going to take a while, though, okay? Saturn goes backwards, and it doesn't get to Capricorn energy, which means it's going to change. It's going to change because it leaves Aquarius, goes into Capricorn. This isn't going to happen until the butt end of June. Literally, the very last couple of days of June is when it gets to 29 degrees of Capricorn. And it's going to take on a different thing, a whole different look, a whole different feel. All right, Capricorn is our structures, where Aquarius is groups. It's thinking with groups, but it's this fixed communication. There's a very specific way that I communicate, and remember, Aquarius, the ruler is Uranus. So it's very unique, but bursts, right? Ingenious ways of communicating. Aquarian energy has to do with flight, right? So interesting because you've got flight in your 9th house, which is long distance journeys. So there might be an indicator in there for you. Finding out where your personal Uranus is will help you to further pinpoint what this is going to mean for you. When we move to the next date, we're looking at May 13th. Another planet goes retrograde. This is Venus. Where does Venus go retrograde? Venus is in Gemini, okay? And she's retrograding at 22 degrees Gemini. So your Gemini energy, obviously Gemini rising, this is in your 1st house, okay? Always check your degrees. There might be, this could float into your 2nd house, okay? Depending upon your birth time. So 22 degrees, you're going to pay attention to the degrees between 22 and 5 degrees because that's where Venus goes back to, all right? What is this going to mean? If it's in your 1st house, Venus is all about love. You're discovering degrees of you. You're discovering more beautiful things about yourself, all right? Self-love, self-acceptance. You're going to unearth things about you that you weren't aware of, all right? And this is lovely. Okay, I do want to talk about a word of caution in terms of Venus, because at the time of the full moon on the 7th, Venus will be squaring very tightly, actually, and literally days before, I should say. Venus begins a square. Venus is at 20 degrees on the 4th of May, and she starts squaring exactly to the planet Neptune. So Neptune's in Pisces, and Neptune in Pisces' job is to kind of add, some confusion. And so think of Neptune as a person who walks over and puts a pair of rose-colored glasses right on your eyes, and all of a sudden, they're all kind of like black and blurry, and you can't see stuff clearly, right? But Neptune is super sweet. All right, has these words that sound wonderful. Neptune speaks very high and idealistically, almost dreamy, like Hollywood. So what you're hearing from Neptune sounds wonderful, sounds beautiful. Keep in mind, because it's squaring Venus, Venus is what you value, right? Which could be your money, your resources. In your case, it's yourself. So you might be hearing words that are just like almost too good to be true. Not that they're not true, but just remember, balance, folks. If we're not seeing clearly because we've got these glasses on, which means we're understanding things, there's a little bit of extreme illusions, delusions that might be occurring at this time. So all you want to do is make sure you're aware of that, but also keep highly aware of anything that happens on the internet, because your sign, Gemini, is about social media. So, like I scroll through Facebook and you'll see these ads, right? All these freaking commercials, buy this, buy that. Just be alert, because Venus represents our money, our income, okay? And you don't want some shyster, right? Because Gemini energy can be very tricky. It's dual, so there might be an aspect of, let's put it like this. But when you have an overinflation of lovey-dovey, idealistic, this is perfect. Well, we all know that that sounds a little extreme, and likely is a bit extreme. And so just go by the wording. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Because at the same time, we're going to have Mars sending this square, all right? And the square is to Mercury. And Mars is about being very assertive and wanting to move fast. It's in Aquarian energy, okay? And when it squares Mercury, Mars is communicating with Mercury, which, by the way, Mercury is in Taurus, and Mercury in Taurus doesn't operate real good for a couple of reasons. First of all, Taurus doesn't want to rush. It's cautious, and it wants to have to do it like maybe one time, whatever it is it's doing. It doesn't want to have to redo it. So it wants to go slow so it does it right the first time. But Mars is saying, oh, no, come on, we can do it. Let's hurry up, right? And it's in air, it's in Aquarius. And Aquarius is like really fast, it's bursts of energy, and so is Mars. It's bursts of energy. And Aquarius is like almost rebellious. And Aquarius is also like, I'm doing this, and I'm the first, Mars, I'm the first one. Aquarius is like, but I want to do it because I want to be the rebel. I want to be the one who stands out. I want to be the trend setter. That's Aquarius, right? The trend setter. And so when Mars and Aquarius couple together, they're very potent, very powerful. And you just want to be careful, right? You want to actually incorporate more thinking. But Mercury is having a hard time. It can't keep up with their speed because it's in Taurus. The other thing that's not happening, or that's going against Mercury right now at this time, is that it's conjunct the Sun in Taurus at 1720. All right. And when that happens, when any planet is that close to the Sun, its abilities and its traits get covered up. Well, what is Mercury? It's our thinking. It's our ability to see the details, right? Clearly. Well, guess what? If the Sun's there kind of covering up Mercury's abilities, you know, knowing this in advance will help, because you'll realize, okay, I just automatically have to give an answer of, I need time to think that through. And that's my bottom line, right? And if somebody says, but I don't, no, you gotta get on this now. Well, then that tells you, let that shit go, right? if they aren't willing to say, yeah, you can have some time to think about it, then let it go. That would be my recommendation, because of these energies, because of Neptune squaring Venus, Mars squaring Mercury. This is a time where it supports shyster and trickster type of energy. So in other words, people on the internet, this is energy that enables them to make a quick buck, right? And so all you want to do is understand that and be like, you know what? I don't want to play into that. I'm not going to be a part of that. And so you just close the door on it, or you do homework and say, I need time to think about it. Now, a deeper meaning of Venus retrograding, it's still the same message of you understanding who you are and reevaluating you. Anytime any planet goes retro, it's a very much an internal thing. All that means is we're rethinking, we're reviewing, we're going over. And because it's in your first house, if it's in your first house, if that 22 degrees to 5 degrees plays out in your first house, it is about you. These things about ourselves, when I talk about our first house, is our appearance. It's how we project ourselves to the world. Okay, so you're reviewing all that. You're going over that. And likely, you know, the goal is you're discovering things about yourself, likely your duality, because Gemini is very prominent for having this, I'm this way about one thing and I'm this way about another thing. And sometimes it appears to be a contradiction, okay? And it's the discovery of those contradictions. Now, we all have Gemini somewhere in our chart, okay? We all have degrees of this. So don't take this personally. Be logical, be rational. Grab it, put a light on it, and be like, okay, just be real matter of fact and deal with it, okay? I know it doesn't happen overnight, but just begin the process, okay? And this in itself, you will begin your steps of evolving, your growth, your journey, your quest. Now, we're going to go to the 14th of May. We have Jupiter retrograding, okay? Is now at 27 degrees Capricorn. So where's Capricorn in your chart, all right? God, we should know this, right? That's all we've been talking about for the longest time is Capricorn energy. This is your 8th house, right? Your 8th house, you've been doing a lot of work there. We all have been dealing with Capricorn energies in a big way. Your 8th house is merged energy, shared energy, deep emotions, but yours is based on the 3D world. It's based on your material, your tangible world. It is all about your financial security. It is about your tangible security, okay? You know, this is the opposite of the Cancer sign. The Cancer sign is our emotional security. So your Capricorn, your tangible security, your 8th house, your shared resources, your bonded financial security, your bonded material security, right? Things that you share physically. This is retrograding, Jupiter, all right? So we're, again, it's another reevaluation of those things, all right? And those people that we share those things with, okay? Capricorn energy in that house means that you're bonded deeply with someone who somehow appears wiser than you, someone who might be physically older than you, okay? Someone that you look up to in some way. They somehow are a teacher for you in some way. Usually, Saturn typically represents a father figure, okay? It doesn't have to be just father, but an authoritative figure in your life. They somehow know something more than you do. And so we tend to latch onto them because, well, they're wiser. And we figure, holy crap, they can help me out. They're smart about certain things that I just don't know about. So there's a reevaluation of all this, okay? I know I've done a lot of videos about the Geminis and this area of their life. And so this is a continuation of that work, okay? Jupiter is going to go all the way back to 17 degrees Capricorn. So find out where the 17 degrees and 27 degrees of Capricorn fall in your chart, and that will help you to pinpoint where this is in your life. specifically, because that's, you know, Jupiter may go back into your 7th house. Only you know. If you don't have your own chart, just comment your stuff below and I can help you find that out. Now, there's one last thing I want to go over, which is a big deal, and that's the north nodes. They're transiting, okay? When we look at the full moon on the 7th, they're already at 29 degrees Gemini, 29 degrees Sagittarius. This is a big deal, Gemini. Pay attention to any north node videos. I'm going to probably do another video talking just about the nodes, but it's in your first house. The north node, which is where we're headed, okay? It's a transit, which means it's affecting all of us. But you probably would do best by finding out what the transiting north node, what kind of a conversation it's having with your personal natal north node. Because the north node moving into your first house is another emphasis on what Venus is doing in your first house. It's this discovery of self. It's this spotlight. You know, think about yourself on the stage. The spotlight's on you. There's nobody else there. But there's a big-ass mirror, right? And it's just you and this mirror and this spotlight. And it's like, okay, this is the time, if ever there was, where it's time to just hone in on who you are, okay? And embrace all the aspects of yourself, which include all your shadow things, things you may not be proud of, okay? And learn how to work with these things. Learn how to nurture each part of yourself and acknowledge that all these parts of you make up who you are, all right? And it is that, you know, it's the wholeness of who we are that makes us perfect, okay? Because none of us have every degree of our being that are only desirable things. That's not, no. A human being, what makes us human is the degrees of ourselves that are less than desirable. We learn how to integrate those into our lives, how to manage them, how to smooth out the edges, and then how to incorporate those things into relating with others, who then have to be able to do the same things. And how many of people have we met who haven't done that kind of work on themselves, right? And then we see that, we feel it, and it's, well, how do we respond to that? Right? So this is a very deep time, okay? I talked about the Wesak full moon, and it's going to be really helpful for not just you, but for all of us, because it's helping us to detach, how to release from that which we desire, how to detach from that which we no longer need. So I wanted to make a quick mention as to the invite, which is I'm going to do a full moon ceremony, and I'm going to have a special ceremonial fire. I'm going to be creating prayer ties, and I am inviting you to comment below your name or somebody you know or both, and put a one-word keyword, what you want to detach from, because this is what we're releasing. The full moon is all about a culmination, the spotlight being on that which we are letting go, okay? So one word, your name, and then the thing you want to let go of, right? So some fear, as an example, would put, hey, I'm G, I want to release fear, right? I want to release my attachments. I want to release my desires, right? I want to, you know, whatever it may be for you, okay? This is specific for each individual. I'll create a personal private prayer tie, and it will be offered into the sacred fire. It will be part of the ceremony. The 4 corners of the earth are called in, the 4 elements are called in, and this is something that I put a lot of energy and focus on. Please don't take this opportunity lightly. This is a very sincere invitation, and it's special only for all of the Allastrology viewers and subscribers. I hope that has put some light on your path. If you have any other questions or anything you're not sure of that I didn't touch on, just don't hesitate. Comment below and I will hook you up.